Slovakia, which is only about 300 miles away from Italy, border to border, to kick off here. Half of the old Czechoslovakia, who are a more than useful World Cup nation. In fact, they made the final in 1962 against Brazil in the days of the great Mazopust, who scored in that final, incidentally. Remember the Czech Republic as well, getting to a final, and Di Natale from long range here. Yeah, the Czech Republic were in the final of Euro 96 and were beaten by a golden goal.
Well, that's his expression right there, saying thank you very much for choosing me today. And starting off with a confident strike towards the goal. That's what he's been fine form throughout the year in Serie A.
The strikers just haven't been scoring in recent matches. Italy without a win in this calendar year so far. They've only lost one. The rest have been draws. They were beaten by Mexico on the eve of the tournament, and maybe that was a little foretaste of things to come.
Absolutely, and when you talk about the lack of goal scoring, you're saying, Ian, that there's been a lot of issues about that, but the defending and the tactical organization, the fitness level of players nowadays, it is harder to break through. The hardest thing in soccer is to score a goal.
Slovakia launching the ball forward towards Vitek. Di Natale helps it on to Italy. They have to show more invention, Italy, somehow. I'm sure the selection of Gattuso in the midfield is going to achieve that. He's more the Rottweiler ball-winning type.
Well, I think really in the last two games for Italy, especially against New Zealand, they lost a lot of balls through the midfield. They weren't recovering it quick enough, and that set them on their back foot. So really that's one of the changes that they made, that Gattuso could come in. The international experience he has playing at AC Milan and for Italy.
Slovakia's position would be much, much better in this group had they not conceded that stoppage time equaliser against New Zealand. And then they were well beaten really by Paraguay, made mistakes, lost 2-0. So they have it to do here, but what a good finish in this group, with all four teams in with a chance of advancing to the round of 16, and it would be a sensation if the Italians went out. It's only happened 3 times before, John, that the defending champions have gone out in round 1. Italy themselves in 1950, Brazil famously in 1966, even with Pelé, and France 8 years ago.
Well, you're seeing the gap has narrowed throughout the years, Ian, in international soccer. From the David and Goliath, as they always say, it's completely narrowed because it's become so athletic, fast, physical, organized, and it's a global game. So coaches, they go to coach other countries, they give us ideas and share the responsibilities of what it's like to defend well.
Yaquinta lays that down, works well with Di Natale. Yaquinta didn't get the angle right at all. The striker who did score a penalty in that last game against New Zealand.
A questionable call, actually, with De Rossi a little bit too easily falling to the ground. That gave them an opportunity to tie that game. Here's a chance here, and it's not well struck at all. Yaquinta off balance, doesn't make a connection at all. And for Italy, they've struggled at times to really manage the game.
One of the headlines back home in the famous La Gazzetta dello Sport was, "Is that it?" Lippi sniffing the banner headline.
I think New Zealand, shocked a lot of people in this group. And if you asked beforehand, everybody would say, oh, it's the easiest, weakest team, not just in the group, but throughout the World Cup. And they did so well to organize and balance, plus scoring early. 7 minutes in, they scored the goal.
Italy have been behind in both of their games so far. They had to rescue it.
We've seen it in this World Cup. Anything's possible.
Pikaric's cross in, and the goalkeeper, of course, has come in because of Buffon's injury. Marchetti electing to punch there. That looked much easier to catch to me.
Well, that looks like it's unsettled nerves at the beginning of a match. In a do-or-die situation, the goalkeeper coming in like that, he's stressed out. He should grab it, Ian, and he should have confidence, and that's what you need in a keeper behind your back four.
Gattuso to head it on. The giant defender there is Durica, playing in central defence. They've made 1 or 2 changes at the back today, bringing in the left back Zabavnik, who can be a driving force from that position when he's in the mood. But you do wonder why he wasn't started in this competition. 1 or 2 little doubts possibly about him.
I think it brings up a lot of questionable doubts about Vladimir Weiss in terms of his decision-making process. And to drop Sestak today and his son Weiss, who I thought were excellent in the first game, okay in the second game, I thought they would have been on this game.
To stay informed on the Paraguay-New Zealand game in this group, go to ESPN3.com and ESPN Mobile TV for up-to-the-minute coverage, though of course right here we'll keep you up to date with any goal scoring in that game, which clearly affects this one as well. Vitek heads it on. There's a chance here for Slovakia, and it's wasted, dragged wide by Hamšík, their star man, the man from Napoli who knows Italy only too well.
Well, it's such a great flick on, and the space is there for Hamšík to penetrate right down the heart of the Italian defense. Oh, he's not going to get a lot of chances like that. Right in the front of the keeper, one-on-one. Not the easiest of balls coming over his shoulder and the timing, but that's where he hasn't shined at all in this World Cup. It's been disappointing for Hamšík, a rising star at Napoli.
Yeah, they put a €27.5 million price tag on him to make sure they keep him, but he hasn't really flourished yet at this World Cup. Apparently the coach Weiss, after one of the short press conferences, feisty press conferences, was seen outside in the tracksuit with his head in his hand, sitting on a step. So maybe the pressure of the World Cup just getting to him a little bit. It sounds like it anyway. Does that to you, doesn't it, this?
It does, actually, and I think what it is the unrealistic expectations that are coming from Slovakia at home. They said the press, the media are all over him.
Which is a bit unrealistic, really. They've done very well to make the World Cup finals. And that's going to be a foul. Gattuso is the player who goes down in his 3rd World Cup now, the old soldier.
And you'll see Gattuso strong, excellent in terms of ball recovery. And he really runs that midfield. He attacks everything. He's a good passer of the ball.
Not long towards Iaquinta. Of course, there's no Luca Toni, no Francesco Totti, no Fabio Grosso, the left back. They tried to get Alessandro Nesta, and of course the likes of Cassano. He has plenty of supporters back in Italy as well. Not included, any of them.
Well, if you remember when they won the title, players like Del Piero coming off the bench scoring goals as well. And I mean, these are top players in the world. They're no longer here, so it's a changed side. And make no mistake about it, Ian, not having Buffon in goal, it certainly does hurt them.
And it just maybe affects the confidence of the players. Here's Stock, who's done good things with Twente, Steve McLaren's side in Holland, on loan from Chelsea. Brought into the side today, playing wide on the right. Sturba helped it across to Durica. Here's Sturba again. Neat footballing side, Slovakia. Kučka trying to bulldoze his way through. There is no way through on this occasion. Kučka plays for Sparta Prague, famous club in the Czech Republic.
That's the great pride of Slovakia, as they say. This nation constantly on the rise throughout qualification over the years, and really to come through into this World Cup. They came in with high expectations, as you said, from home, and I was talking about earlier, but the players themselves, a collective spirit.
There's another ball on the pitch here. That's not the first time that's happened. They're trying to keep the action going with balls at the ready, but sometimes you do get that confusion. Mustn't give people ideas, must we?
No,
Two balls on the pitch.
Definitely not. It's better when you don't have to think as much. Rely on instinct, Ian.
It's hard enough with one. Di Natale down to Iaquinta here. Slow start from the Italians again. Crescito is getting a good run in the team. Part of the new wave at left back.
I wonder if part of the slow start from Italy is a the little bit of arrogance that they always have. Like, oh, it's going to be okay, we're going to be fine. And they get stronger and stronger. They understand the game pretty well, managing it throughout 90 minutes. They know when to strike.
Well, maybe something here from this set piece. Look at their recent goals have come from set pieces. Not that they've been scoring that many of them, in all honesty. Di Natale is the player who swings this in. That's a free kick given. Quinta did put the ball in the back of the net, but the whistle had long gone, in truth, and the defence had stopped playing.
Plenty of players challenging for the ball here and just pushing off. You see how it gets almost a little bit of deflections that comes through from Cannavaro, making that near post run. And there's Quinta just holding on. There's a foul definitely for, on top of, I believe it was Derisa. Derisa plays in the left back, loves to push forward. The number 16. Quinta really hasn't found his form at all, Ian. And in the first 2 games, it's been disappointing as a front man.
He has. He keeps his place, but Alberto Gilardino is dropped today, having been subbed in the last game. They're trying to find the right combination. Chiellini gets it away. Still him and Cannavaro, the Juventus pair, at the back for the Italians. Gattuso doing what he's done so well over the years, getting the ball, but then not using it. This will be his last World Cup. He's retiring from international football after this tournament, maybe his last game if the Italians go out.
Well, it could possibly be, Ian, and you know, that's the stress and the anxiety that is really on the Italian team and back in Italy itself, because that's Gazzetta dello Sport. They are asking questions. When are you going to shine? And maybe the experience of Italy could pave the way in this Game 3 situation.
So here's a free kick to be taken by Miroslav Stoch, the 20-year-old. Howard Webb is just telling everybody here, look, I'm watching to see if there's any pushing or shoving or shirts being tugged. Skirtle, the Liverpool defenders, come up for this one. It's too long for him. The goalkeeper punches. That was a better and more authentic one. And then hammered a long way over by Zabavnik, the defender from Mainz in Germany he plays for.
And this is better from Marchetti. He has to reach for this one, but he's strong. He's committed to the ball. You see that ball as it drops back out. The strike coming back in. Well, plenty of players push forward in terms of numbers getting. Well then, Gianluigi Buffon on the bench with a back problem. And they talked about aging players in this World Cup for the Italian side. It's not good to get a back problem, is it? One of the star goalkeepers in the world.
And he could miss the first 4 months of the Serie A season as well, they're saying. We'll see. Vitek with the flick on here towards Jędrzejczyk, who's been brought into the side today. He goes down in a heap there, but the referee waves play on. Quinta thought he'd got the other side. It's all a bit messy early on here. By the way, here's something. If this game ends in a draw and the other game in an identical draw, we would have to go to lots between Italy and New Zealand to see who goes through.
So is it you that actually chooses the lottery, Ian?
I haven't got that kind of esteem around the FIFA World Cup. You should know that,
Well,
John.
there's going to be plenty of people watching that then to make sure that comes out correctly.
Apparently it happens an hour after this game that they make that draw. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, because I think there's an element of farce about that. Because they would be level on points, goal difference and goals scored should they say both draw 1-1 today, or 0-0, or 2-2.
It seemed like a fair tackle, actually. Comes in from behind and gets the ball, though. Didn't see anything wrong with that.
Sturba, the number 6. Wide to Zabavnik. It's a good ball there. Hamšík springing from the midfield. Vitek's unmarked in the middle here. Couldn't quite find him. But a good break by Slovakia.
And that's a great run from Marek Hamšík. And that's what you want to see from him, breaking out of the midfield a little bit more. He does it for Napoli so many times. And Vitek has been finding himself in good space in the heart of the defense for Italy. That has to be a concern for Marcello Lippi, the head coach.
Vitek, the scorer of Slovakia's only goal so far in the competition against New Zealand. He's winning his 73rd cap today. Skrtel.
I've noticed something about Martin Skrtel, the Liverpool centre-back. When he is under pressure in this World Cup, he does not distribute the ball well. Not sure if he's off his game or his fatigue kicks in. He doesn't look like his usual self, Ian.
Johnny's had a bad season at Liverpool.
No,
injuries, loss of form, lost his place in the side, and of course Liverpool had a bit of a nightmare really, finishing 7th, which is way down for them in the English Premier League. Here's Montolivo, and then Di Rossi, now Zambrotta. At his best, he can really produce some good raids down that side. Pepe was quickly muscled out of that one. Gattuso goes down. Referee is going to give the free kick here, and a yellow card for Sterba. Number 6 for Slovakia.
Yeah. Sterba already seen coming late to that ball there, but you're already seeing the difference. Now he mixes the next match if they go through. Well, you've seen the difference already just from Gattuso. He's putting himself in good spots in the midfield, anticipating the play very well.
Gattuso will speak the same language as the referee with his Scottish wife and Spalak Rangers. It's a bit of English. Gattuso. This is Chiellini. Yeah, the whistle does go. The referee had to think about that one for a second or two, then blew.
Seemed quite late from Howard Webb. He hesitated. Looked like it was going to be a break for Slovakia. There's a challenge coming in from Vitek. He's put himself about pretty well.
Taken quickly, Di Rossi from a long way away. It was blocked by Jędrzejczyk. Run back again by Crisito. Now Iaquinta showed himself well there. Time for the Italians to start showing their quality and class, if they have it, at this World Cup. Pepe's the player down. We'd like to welcome the American forces serving in countries all over the world, watching today's 2010 FIFA World Cup match on the American Forces Network, and we hope you're enjoying the broadcast as always. I'm sure you are. Daniele Di Rossi across to Ricardo Montolivo. Had a terrific shot that chipped the post against New Zealand. He was unlucky with that. I thought he was one of their better players on the day, Montolivo, but there weren't too many heroes in blue. The ball is given away to Pepe. Feeds it through, couldn't find Iaquinta.
That's a bad giveaway from Kuka. You see him coming through in the holding midfield kind of spot. He'll be sharing that in there. Hamšík try to release as much as they can.
The Slovakians specialised in away wins in their qualifying group. Now then, Iaquinta on the chase here, very well covered by Durizo, who's playing in the centre of the defence today. A big unit, as they say, the players.
Absolutely. And here's a challenge that comes in on Iaquinta. And you just think about the Italian strikers, and you go back a year in the Confederations Cup, one of them, which was not really chosen at all, the American Giuseppe De Rossi, who scored goals 2 against the U.S. in the Confederations Cup. You would have thought he'd be here as a young player, but not chosen. They could be missing that.
Yes, that might be a fateful selection. The coach Marcello Lippi was very good with dealing with the media, but he's batting away all inquiries, saying there's no real crisis with the situation that we're in here, and I haven't left any big stars at home that could change things for us.
No, but it's always some of the top managers in the world have teams that are assembled and a good balance between veterans and youth.
Montolivo looks to Spread it wide for Di Natale. Here is Zambrotta, closing in on 100 caps now. Zambrotta, the right back, 97th today.
He shows a lot of experience coming through. Pepe's playing in a more advanced position today, starting almost as a deep-lying attacking player. If you look at this last chance, that last chip over the top, really just to the keeper, no threat at all. Jan Muka can pick that up easily.
They used to have a right winger called Capello, didn't they?
Yeah.
Italy. Wonder what happened to him. Here's Montolivo across to Crisito. Now Pepe coming out to the other side. Did he keep that in play? Just. Crisito's muscled out of it by Stock, who's really looking to make his name. He banged in 10 goals in Holland for Twente as they won the championship this year.
He's got great energy, Stock, and you always see him busy and around the ball. He hasn't been in any positions right now, though, to take players one-on-one, getting isolated down that wing.
It's not long. Chiellini in a race for the ball with Jędrzejczyk, who did well, showed a turn of foot himself.
This is just really down to the passion and the work rate. And Jędrzejczyk comes to the Kaiserslautern striker, getting the nod today to start. Number 18. And he really makes something out of nothing, doesn't he, Ian? That was just a harmless ball played in behind. Italian defense slow to react.
It's the kind of running they're going to need. Here comes the corner. Stop. It's too long even for Hamšík. By the way, behind that goal that Slovakia attacking, it's great to see there are a lot of school children who have been given seats here today. Looks like, well over 1,000 of them, and that's a good sight to see. You don't want to see spare seats, do you?
Not at all, not at all. And you want to be taking care of the locals and giving these tickets away if you can. Let them enjoy the experience of South Africa.
Hear to that. Good run here from Kuchka. There's going to be a free kick here for the Slovakians. I mentioned the old Czechoslovakia being in the 1962 final. They also played Italy back in 1934 with Mussolini watching on in the crowd, and a lot of tensions in Europe in the build-up to the Second World War at the time. Italy won that 2-1 after extra time. Some good footballers from that part of the world down the years. This Skirtle on an excursion from the back. Still got it too. It's still Skirtle, like some bulldozer. There's no coherence at all from Italy, or urgency.
No, it just seemed like they're going through the motions again. You see Skirtle here, he's just kind of, who's going to take responsibility from the Italian midfield to step up and close him down? And it's only until he actually gets into the 18 where someone says, all right, I need to somehow defend this. And that's the early concern from the Italians, being slow starters, also conceding early goals, Ian. That's very dangerous to do that as defending champions.
Well, one of their problems here so far is they've been slow finishers too. I don't think the Slovakian goalkeepers had anything to do so far. I mean, why are they lacking in urgency? Look at the situation in the group. They have to go for it, don't they?
They certainly do, and I think they're looking at each other saying who's going to be the leaders that step up. Who are the big players? That's what it is. When it comes down to it, big players step up, and you're not seeing enough of that from Italy. Another bad giveaway.
It's played in towards Vitek. It was never going to get there. Chiellini was in the way. And giving the ball away again. There was De Rossi who was to blame, and the Slovakians have the lead. Vitek strikes. Terrible mistake. Daniele De Rossi gave the ball away, and Vitek gives Slovakia hope of advancing to the last 16. Italy are in big trouble. Behind again.
What else can you say about being slow starters
Poor defense, giving the ball away, De Rossi. And then what? How many times did Vitek early on in the first 20 minutes of this game penetrate down the heart of the defense of Italy? And there you see it. And that's where they get hurt. Great finish from Vitek, though. There's still work to be done, Ian. He turns at the top of the box and he picks his corner out. And when you don't have Buffon in goal, one of the world's best, you've got to take strikes and take chances. And that's exactly what Slovakia does. Italy find themselves in danger.
Well, it's an amazing thing at this World Cup. Somebody produced a statistic here that 2 attempts on goal by the opposition to Italy before this game, both went in. That might be the third.
That's exactly correct.
Amazing.
So they were saying they were a pretty good defensive unit because they've only given away 2 strikes on goal, but both of them went in.
They are in trouble. Here is Pepe. At last, that goal has just driven a little bit of extra energy into the Italians. De Rossi, what a mistake from an experienced player.
It's such a really, the weight of the pass from Kuchka was excellent, the number 19. But a bad giveaway from De Rossi. You talked about why Gattuso was in the midfield. Well, I thought it was going to free up De Rossi a little bit more to go forward, but he was in a deep defensive midfield position. Horrible decision from him.
In the other game still, Paraguay 0, New Zealand 0. If things stayed this way and there were no further goals, now these are long shot with a lot of football still to be played. Italy, the world champions, will be going home. And I think they might be going home to a reception of rotten fruit from the fans at the airport. They might have to smuggle them in through a back door somewhere.
Well, we've seen it, you know, with the really disgraceful performance of France in this World Cup. Early exit home. You might see the defending champions on their way out.
Stock takes the corner. Iaquinta was back defending. Back it comes to Stock again. Slovakia have been positive as they had to be. Only a win would do for them today, and they've come with the right approach. The same is not true so far of the Italians.
You see Picare coming in here, the number 2. He's first to the ball, and that's one of the main things. If Italy don't have the hard-working players who want to sacrifice for each other, Ian, as defending champs, you're not going to win those balls in the midfield.
Here's another one to go into the mixer for those big, muscular Slovakian players, particularly the defenders who've come forward to try to win. Stock takes it, it goes a long way, it's well defended that time. Again, I think it was Iaquinta, the striker, doing good work, helping out his defence. Italy are on the back foot here.
They are actually, and at times they had 6-7 players defending across that back line. Here we see that last free kick from Stock. Here's how Stock, he puts a good ball in there. And he was saying as well that we have to eliminate the defensive mistakes in the back in order for us to have a chance against Italy. And so far they've done pretty well.
Montolivo. Well, Pirlo is on the bench, but he only started kicking a ball again after his calf injury a couple of days ago. Certainly not fit to start, but they might have to take a gamble with him, see if he can open up the Slovakians with his passing. That's gone against the Italians there. Di Natale appeals to Howard Webb, the referee, says, what's that about? Well, here's what it's about.
You see here, he comes in the challenge, and he just, the handball. Howard Webb looking at it as if there was no foul at all.
The World Cup continues from South Africa today at 2 Eastern Time on ESPN as Denmark takes on Japan. That's a decider in that group. And on ESPN2, Cameroon against the Netherlands from Group D. Just a reminder, if the results are the way the scorelines are now, Slovakia will go through in this group with Paraguay. Paraguay 0, New Zealand 0 in that other game.
You have to think, Ian, that New Zealand will be having loads of confidence in that other match against Paraguay. See, you look at the Italian bench there briefly, and not having Pirlo in the midfield, the
the maestro, the orchestrator of the game. He has such a great impression on the Italian team itself going forward. And they've got to be missing him for sure. Oh, that's a chance.
Possession being given away. Cannavaro is the player on the floor there. And there's a card for Cannavaro.
Well, I would think he misses the next match, no? I think Cannavaro. Well, was it Cameronese? He was the one who got the card in the last one.
Yeah, not Cannavaro. This is 18th World Cup match today. Cannavaro equaling the great Gaetano Scirea and Antonio Cabrini. He's ahead of Dino Zoff with performances at this World Cup, but Cannavaro, the World Cup winning captain, he must really be feeling the agony. I'm sure this will be one of his last appearances for his country. The Italians have to pick this up somehow. Lippi will be thinking, what can I do? Vitek was too good for Crescito there. Good recovery from the left back, mind you.
Well, you see where Vitek first wins the ball and knocks it on to Hamšík in the midfield, and that's where the Italians, there's a gap in between that holding midfielder De Rossi and the two center backs. And here again, look at Vitek winning every ball.
Feeding it out to Jędrzejczyk. Good block, Chiellini. Important he got something in the way of that, it was travelling. Simone Pepe. He's been picked every game. I don't think he's done that much, Pepe. We've seen all the Italians' games, and he keeps getting the nod from Lippi.
Yeah, I mean, he's played on the left side of midfield in some games, on the right, but he's been pushed a little bit higher today with the changes to sort of try to get some goals. He and Di Natale are going to offer a little bit more support with Iaquinta up top. I think Iaquinta hasn't done anything at all, Ian, in this game or the other two. He scored the penalty, which was even questionable, but De Rossi going down. So in the final third, they are lacking goal-scoring solutions, the defending champs.
Of course, he's going, and everybody knew that he's going after this World Cup as the coach. Does that impact on the players? We know that Cesare Prandelli, the Fiorentina coach, is going to take over. Is that a good move? Because everybody knew Dominic was going with France too.
Right, and you and I discussed this, Ian, and the mental approach to the actual World Cup on a game-by-game basis, the feeling what's in the camp itself, knowing that the manager that's with you now is just off. He's already maybe packed his bags, as they say. So it does have an effect on them. I'm sure it does.
Another headline in Italy was Italy with no game and headless in La Repubblica. And that basically sums up what we've seen from them here. I mean, that really is terrible. Again, they're having a nightmare here.
Well, De Rossi keeps getting selected as well to play, and I haven't seen much from him. They are good players. We're not taking that away from them. But where are the players with the heart and the passion? You know, if you're going to defend a title, sometimes it's hard to go in the next, 4 years down the road. But you have to at least bring that to a national side when you're wearing the jersey.
There are 9 over 30s in the squad. Somebody rather cruelly said they should be sponsored by age concern, and that Italy was a country apparently for old men.
Wow. Well, from a country that produces some of the best wine in the world as it ages, maybe that's not the case with this team.
Yeah, maybe not a vintage edition of the Azzurri, this one. It's the Cannavaro challenge on Hamšík, who they know full well from games in Serie A. It's all Slovakia really in terms of attacking threat so far. That's a surprising scoreline. They really do believe in themselves. It's a long-range effort which the goalkeeper was struggling to get to. Strava with the effort.
Wow. That was a heck of a chance. Buffon looking on, but look at the distance from this. And Strava, wow. Excellent strike, good power, and certainly keeping it on the frame to test Marchetti. He's had his hands full in the beginning of this game.
He looks a little nervous, I must say, since he's come in. This is played long, and This time the goalkeeper's got to come and get this. He does. By the way, it's a wonder that Marchetti is here at all. He was in a horrific car crash a few years ago and recovered to tell the tale. His idol, always been his idol as a goalkeeper, is the man he's replaced here. Those two very close. Buffon would have passed on a lot of advice to him, but the fact is Italy are one down and trouble here. It's really good performance so far from Slovakia. No sense of inferiority complex from them at all. Ooh, Quinta nearly getting there, but that's good defending from Zabavnik.
Excellent defending. Look at the energy he has. Vladimir Weiss under pressure, as you said, made the 4 changes for this match, but he wanted players in there that were going to give everything they had. So far, they seem to be doing it. Italy are making it easy for me, and I think, though, with the giveaways, they don't seem to be under pressure as much through the midfield, but they're still turning the ball over when they shouldn't. Players of this quality, they're underachieving.
Seem to have more energy, more ideas, Slovakia, but Italy have pulled it back in their other games in this group. But it really was a bit of a humiliation for them to be drawing with New Zealand, as well as New Zealand did, and as well organised as they were in that game.
Well, Slovakia resemble the US in a way of being the underdogs. They love being that type of team and fighting and competing.
Here's this Italian bench. Just look at those faces as the camera pans along.
Oh.
Worried, anxious faces.
Every picture tells a story. And you can see what that story is telling right now from the Italian bench.
Having said that, they've been in holes before and got out of them. Of course, we've told the story, but it is worth repeating. 1982, they drew all 3 matches in the group, somehow went through, and then went all the way through with some very fine performances to win the World Cup, notably beating a classic Brazil side 3-2 with a hat-trick from Paolo Rossi. They need somebody like him now, though. Somebody to take off and get some goals like Toto Scalacci did back in 1990 for them. It's another pretty wretched ball, in all honesty, from the Italians. They do not appear to have any kind of creative clue at this stage of the game anyway. That could change. Montalino from long range.
It's ambitious for Montalino, and total disconnect from this team. No rhythm in their play. Slovakia is very happy to just contend and keep their shape.
The 2010 FIFA World Cup continues from South Africa. Don't miss this one. Saturday at 2 Eastern Time on ESPN as the United States take on Ghana in the round of 16 after all that drama and the goal that some people are calling the most important in US soccer history yesterday.
There's been many great moments in US history. I've been very fortunate to be part of it. US game over Colombia, the qualification for 1990, and the match against Trinidad and Tobago away. But even the president of the federation, Sunil Gulati, said it very well. There was so much attention on the US at this particular time. They maximized it. Unbelievable drama winning that game.
Just to clarify, by the way, I might have said ESPN, that game is on ABC, the US game at the weekend. Just make a note of that. ABC at 2 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. They need a gladiator or two, don't they?
Yes, they do. Well, that's what Gattuso was put into the midfield for, to win the balls, to be the general, that gladiator. So far, maybe he is contributing, but don't see much else through the midfield for the Italians.
We need to find a few answers. Cannavaro, I think it is, who's gone down over there. 37 he'll be in September. That hurt. The studs right through those thin boots.
Absolutely, and really when you look at the Azzurri, just a lack of confidence in this team, and players just looking at each other to say who's going to be the one to step up and be that leader, man up. All the experience in the world, some of these players. Vitek getting booked now.
The goal scorer goes into the book, Robert Vitek. Was a rash challenge, really. Studs all over Cannavaro. There's always the danger of a metatarsal injury with that kind of thing as well. The boots are a bit flimsier these days, lightweight. They look great, but they're not quite as sturdy as some of the old ones.
And some of the old ones were like lead boots, Ian. You know, very thick and sturdy, like you said.
Gattuso to play this one in. Oh, and Skirtle over his own bar. I'm sure he's going to tell you he knew exactly what he was doing.
Well, he had to do that because Iaquinta was waiting for it on the back post. He was just behind him. He did very well not to direct that into his own goal.
Very well. Now then, can Italy bite back here? That's headed behind by Stock on that near post. There's a question too about the Slovakians' level of belief. Do they believe they can do this against the world champions? Beat them, go through. That's Chiellini with the header, grabbed quite easily by the goalkeeper, Luca.
Well, when you talk about belief, scoring against the defending champions should give you some belief. It did for Shane Smeltz and the Kiwis. And they scored in the 7th minute. They went on to fight and battle and get a draw. So that should help them in some regard.
Italy are too bad to be true here so far. Sturba, who came close with that long-range effort, plays it across to Kuczka. Hope for Slovakia, who came into this game bottom of the group but now lead. Di Natale has been absolutely anonymous so far, and that is not good enough either. Good ball down the side there by Pikarek, who plays for Wolfsburg in Germany.
All the space in the world for Miroslav Stock to just turn and run with that ball. We saw Italy pushing numbers forward there, but totally out of position.
Bounce was a bit unkind on the far side there for Zabavnik. Skipped away from him.
And here's that last chance again with Skirtle. The Italian Stock, possibly with the pressure on there and the ball into the box, could have led to an own goal, but it narrowly just went over the top of the bar.
Sturba's the player down injured here. Howard Webb, the referee, has stopped the play. He's struggling. And they're waving on the physios here. He's writhing around here, Sturba. I'm not entirely clear what happened there.
No, he doesn't look well at all. You see that gash right across the top of the leg there. Wow.
Goodness me, that is horrible. That is hurting. That looked a very, very deep wound, John.
It did actually, and you see where a Sturba comes in. That's how the follow-through from the ball being played. It's Gattuso's boot. You see a stud just come up right across the knee. Yeah, that's a serious gash.
The unkindest cut of all inflicted by Gattuso. Not that I don't think there was any malice in that at all. It's just one of those things that happens, but Sturba's going to need some attention. That cut might need some stitches.
Well, if that's the case, then, you know, with Slovakia in the last 2 games, they were always susceptible in the back and a little bit slow to react to things. And if they go a man down, they have to change tactically their formation to see if they can get him back on the field. Number 6, Sturba. Just had that long distance strike moments ago.
He's a tireless workhorse, Sturba. Now it looks like they're thinking about maybe making a change here, the Slovakians. Kopunek was being readied for action. Yeah, I think the words come through that he's not going to be able to continue. That might be quite important because those 2 holding midfielders have been doing a heck of a good job for Slovakia.
Well, they have. They've done very well. And the experience of Sturba as well. It's a shame. He started well. He was having a good game. I'm sure Vladimir Weiss, the coach, I'm happy to see him have to leave early in this first half.
So on comes Kamil Kapunek, who's a one-club man from Spartak Trnava in Slovakia. Defensive midfield player for his 10th cap.
He's saying he wants to stay on.
Yeah, he's saying no.
Look, even the coach, Vladimir Weiss, said no, pull him back.
No, look at that, he's been manhandled away. No, you're not coming on. He's all right. Now, that's bad communication between the physios and the bench. Not quite sure what was going on there, because they do not want to lose Sturber if he can play on, and he says he can.
Well, at some point, you would think the medical staff would look over and say either he's okay, give him a few minutes, or here's a definitive no, he's done. And it looked like they said he was done. So Vladimir Weiss started to say, well, I've got to get a player on.
He is struggling a bit, though, Sturber. I'm just looking at him. He's kind of running with a bit of a limp. Maybe he can run off the injury. I think they'll give it a couple of minutes, see how he goes. We're probably close enough to half-time for them to just have another look at all that then. But there always is a danger if you're playing with a passenger. This is no game to be anything less than 100% in. Of added time.
Yeah, here Dorica comes across. Quinta just catches him from behind. And when we went back to some of the chances or lack of chances from Italy, you see Skirtle putting that one just over to the bar. We looked at the crowd. The Italians, the faces were like, oh, we just missed that one. But is that not a sign of desperation?
I think it probably is. Can't wait to hear what Ruud Gullit has to say about this Italian performance at half-time. Because he played in Italy with great distinction among many other places, Ruud. But I think the best thing for them now is to get into half-time with it only being one and see if they can somehow come up with something to galvanise themselves.
Well, for Slovakia, just before half-time, this would be a great opportunity to put a second on the score sheet. It would be great for their confidence.
They have a free kick here in a dangerous-looking position. I must say Marchetti had the look of a rabbit in the headlights, rather, those staring eyes, wondering what's going to happen next. The wall blocks the effort from Dorica. Montolivo gets it away.
Well, at some point, I would think that Vladimir Weiss's son may come in, because Miroslav Stok, the 15 on the wing, hasn't been doing much at all for their team, Slovakia.
Vitek does well, sets that one up. Oh, and it's hammered there, and hammered well by Kuchka, the midfield player. He really got hold of that.
Juraj Kuchka, what a great strike it was. And it comes out of the blue. The ball just kept alive here from Vitek. Excellent work from him in the first half. Look at that strike. Great technique and power. The timing is excellent.
Kuchka did score 5 goals from midfield for Sparta Prague as they won the championship in the Czech Republic this season. That was a lovely hit. Zambrotta, that's better movement. Di Natale, that's a bit better from Italy. Comes all the way back to Montolivo, who slipped at the decisive moment.
Yeah, Montolivo's had a disappointing first half for the Italians.
That is half-time. Robert Vitek's goal. Italy in big trouble. Are they on their way out of the World Cup? I don't know about a Roman road. It's a road to ruin so far. Ruud Gullit waiting in the studio along with Bob Lee.